will resolve it. If you have any doubt related to the visa, I am here to guide you and help you and to clarify your doubts. So whatever questions you have, the queries you have, you can ask and I will be replying it one by one to everyone.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Harjeet. So, for everybody, you can see that at the bottom there is a Q&A box, and that is exactly where you have to place your questions. And we will ensure that we will take it up one by one. We may not be able to give you a chance to speak, but rest assured, we'll take up all your questions. So, Harjeet, to start with, I want to, ask a very basic question that what is a student visa and how does it differ from other visa types?
So student visa is when students like the student wants to study in any country. So once they
Okay.
get the confirmation, the acceptance letter from any university of any country, I will say per se. So after that, we start the visa process. So it depends that how much IELTS score you have, about the funding, and apart from that, your documentation, your qualification, your work experience, CV, everything we need. So based on that, we evaluate everything. And after the evaluation, if there is anything pending, then we ask the student to send it. Plus, we need statement of purpose as well, the visa SOP we call, because we justify everything on that letter. So student visa is
Okay.
that student, someone is going on a student visa in any country. They want to study, whether it's a 1 year course or 2 year course. So it should be minimum at least 1 year of course. Then they can go for a student visa on a student visa. So that is the
Perfect.
student visa.
Perfect. Perfect. And when you say that, of course, this is obviously if you're going abroad to study, it's called a student visa. So, what are essentially the basic eligibility criteria for applying for a student visa?
So the requirement, it depends from country to country, to be honest,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
there is a age factor as well. So
Hmm.
sometimes they accept above 30 as well. Sometimes they accept below 30. So average is 30 to 35 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
More than that, there are less chances of getting the visa approval. So requirement
Okay.
is again depends from country to country. Some universities ask for the IELTS. Without IELTS, you cannot apply. Visa SOP is most important thing in the visa part, the documentation. Financials,
Okay.
yes, you need to pay your fees, the remaining fees, living expenses, you need to show in your account. So only
Okay.
three types of funds are acceptable in student visa: education loan, savings, and fixed deposits.
Okay.
And apart from that, the bank statement, it should be at least 3 months old, and it
Okay.
should not be the immediate funds. And
All right.
based on that, we prepare the file and submit it. We create the profile in the VFS. They go to the VFS, submit their file, give the biometrics and photograph. So this is
Mhm.
a basic requirement which every country asks for, except
Perfect.
US because that's interview based country.
Interview based. All right, great. So, like you said, that there are differences, in respect of eligibility, and that depends on the country. So, I'd like you to pick up two countries. Let's say you spoke of US. So, could you help me process for US very briefly, and one other country, let's say Germany? Could you help outline the process?
Sure. So first US, let's take US. So US, you receive the I-20. So once you get the I-20, after that, the visa process starts. So it is interview based. So they got the I-20 because they showed the financials already. Because
Okay.
without the financial, the student will not get the I-20. After that, we fill the DS-160 form. That is the application form, we call it. And once we fill it, then we create the login credential on CGI. So CGI is for the, that is a portal for appointments. So
Okay.
once the DS-160 is filled, we create the profile on the CGI portal. Once
Sure.
we create it, then we have to pay the visa fees, which is 185 USD. And then we need to book the appointment. And then we have to pay the service fee, which is 350 USD. Service fee is the course. So that is valid
Sure.
for 1 year. So this is, and then we prepare for the interview because
For the
there is an interview. So we prepare the student once they book the slot. We help the student with the mock preparation. So if they need 4, 5, 6 marks, whichever it is, that depends from student to student. So how many sessions they need, we prepare them, and then they go for the interview. So this is the
Understood.
US. And for Germany, so Germany, you need a letter of acceptance again. So once you get it, then again, but uh, here we need IELTS for visa, right?
Okay,
So
sure.
after that, we prepare the documentation. We need to create the blocked account. Blocked account amount is 11,904 euros. And apart from that fees, whatever fees they have paid, the remaining they need to show in their account. And that should be 3 months to 6 months of bank statement they need to carry. And again,
Understood.
the visa SOP is required in the
Mm-hmm.
Germany visa, and the qualification, work experience, and the bank statement, blocked account letter, everything we need to arrange. And then we go to the VFS to
Mm-hmm.
submit the documentation. And based on that, we receive the visa acceptance or rejection, whatever it is. So those
Yes.
that is based upon the documentation and visa SOP, whatever you are writing in that. Because there is no interview, so we have to justify everything in the SOP. So this is what the Germany process is.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you for outlining the process for both of these countries very sufficiently. Now, I want to ask a question to you that um, uh, are there any specific challenges that Indian students face when applying for student visas? So if I were to compare it to the countries everywhere, around the world, so would you say that in India, we have stricter student visa policies?
Like I didn't get the question. Like
So my question, yes, my question is that when I look at students applying from India, so would you say that there are specific challenges that only Indian students face? And would you say that as a whole, it's difficult for a student from India to get a visa?
it's nothing like that. So all
Okay.
depends upon your profile and your funding. So financial, like money matters here. So if
Okay.
you are showing the enough amount or more
Mm-hmm.
amount in your account, or if it is Canada GIC is there, if you are paying the
Mm-hmm.
1 year fees, it's there, then your profile gets stronger, right? So it
Okay.
depends. So it depends upon the profile. If your IELTS is good, your academic score is good, your financials are good. So there is very less chances that you will get the refusal. Rest depends upon the embassy, right? But
Mhm.
it all depends upon your profile. It is nothing like
Understood.
that whether you are Indian or you are from Nigeria, or if you are from UAE, or if you are from
Mhm.
other countries, whatever it is, so Pakistan, from wherever you are, but all depends upon your profile and financials and what
Understood.
your future
Understood.
plan is.
All right. So would you say that the finance component of it is one of the most critical components?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
All right. All right. So when you say that, how would you say that students can demonstrate their ability to fund their studies abroad? So what should they do to ensure that their visa is a success and they do not face any challenge or rejection due to their finances? And what are some essential financial documents that are required during this entire application process?
So here, what they can do in advance is they need to maintain their amount in their account for at least 3 months. It should
Mm-hmm.
not be an immediate fund, which I mentioned earlier, because you need to justify from where that amount came. So
Mm-hmm.
source of fund again should be fixed deposits, education loan, and savings, nothing else.
Understood.
So it
Okay.
cannot be home loan, it cannot be personal loan, because you need to maintain it at least for 3 months. If it is for UK, then you need to maintain it for 1 month, 28 days. If it
Right.
is for other countries, at least 3 months. And the statement, bank statement goes for 6 months. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to maintain it for 3 months, bank statement is for 6 months. So this is how it goes. So they need to maintain it in advance to avoid the confusion or the refusal.
Sure, sure. And you would say that 3 to 6 months is a let's say is a required window irrespective of the country, right? Except for UK, which you said 1 month. For other countries, it should be 3 to 6 months.
Yes, yes, to be on the safer side, and that you should tell them that I was planning for the same thing for at least 3 months or 6 months or more than that. So that's why I was maintaining my funds. I agree,
Understood.
because education loan is okay. We can justify that, right?
Hmm.
But except that we need to justify the other funds if we are taking it from friends, family, whatever it is, but that should be maintained for at least 3 months.
3 months. Absolutely. Absolutely. So my other question is that obviously the duration of courses that students go for, it varies, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. But for everything, they need a student visa, like you mentioned. So is it necessary for students to show the entirety of the funds for the entire course duration? Let's assume I'm talking of Germany. So I know that I have to show living expenses for 1 year, but do I need to also show my tuition fee for 1 year and only then I can get a visa?
No, it's not like that. You need to pay because on your letter of acceptance or offer letter, they will ask you
Mm.
to pay a deposit amount or 50% fees. So if
Okay,
you pay that amount, after that only, then you need to show the remaining fees,
okay.
right? So some universities or some countries will ask you to pay the 1 year fees. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some will ask you to pay first semester fees. Some will ask you
Mm-hmm.
to pay the deposit. So whatever
Mm.
amount you pay, you have to show the remaining amount in your account plus
Understood.
the living cost. It is like
Plus the
that.
living cost. All right. Okay. So would you say, Harjeet, that in most countries you will have to pay a certain fee to get your visa, right? From here, from
Yes.
India.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. So because we are talking of how students can better be prepared for the entire process. I mean, because it's very common that at the very end, when they have reached the end of the process, they are not able to get their visa, and largely because of their finances. So what would you say, or what do you think is the role that sponsors, and this can be parents, guardians, or scholarships, they play in the visa application process?
So here only your family members can sponsor you if you are talking about the sponsors. Your friends or relatives cannot sponsor you. Only your
Mm-hmm.
blood relatives, your mother, father, your sister, or whosoever it is. So your siblings and your parents can sponsor you or grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else here.
Okay.
No one can sponsor you here. Like you need to take the money from them if it is not the family member, maintain it for
Mm.
some time, and then apply for the visa. So this is how it
Understood.
works. And
Understood.
scholarship is okay. It will be deducted from your total fees.
Total fee. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. The other thing, that this is my final question in respect to the finance component of it, that if a student gets rejected because their financial proof is deemed insufficient, um, if the next time they want to apply to the same country, let's say a student wants to go to the US and for some reason they got a rejection because they had insufficient funds, if they want to go to the same university or in the same country the next time, are there chances that they would get a visa?
So it's like if it is one time rejected, you need to justify why it was rejected. So if
Okay.
we talk about Germany or UK or any other country, so if it is
Hmm.
rejected, you can reapply
Hmm.
stating that there were this much fund, like
Hmm.
the less funds. So this was the reason I got refused. So
Hmm.
now I have more funds calculated. Let's say 100 GPP is the rate current, correct? So
Hmm.
we will calculate it as 105
Hmm.
to be on the safer side, so that if in case the pound fluctuates, we are on the safer side and we don't get the refusal. Don't submit the visa with the current or actual amount. If it is we need
Okay.
20 lakhs, it should not be 20 lakhs. It should be at least 25 to 28 lakhs. So it should be like that. We should show more funds than required.
Then required. Understood. Understood. I think that's a very helpful point. That a student needs to show more funds than it is actually required for the entirety of the course. Perfect. Perfect. So
Yes.
moving on, Harjeet, I'll want to cover one more point, and that is in respect of the language proficiency, because this is another reason why people may not get a visa. So how important is the proof of English proficiency? And would you say that, I know you mentioned in US you do not need to show any English proficiency score during visa.
Correct.
So, could you outline in which countries you do need it and in which countries you do not need it? And do they also have specific minimum scores for visa approval?
So for US, IELTS is like EPT is required at the time of the admission, the application,
Okay.
because university needs it. Though it is interview based, so we don't need the IELTS at the time of the visa in the US. UK, also some of the universities, they give the waiver. but not every. If university is giving the waiver, we don't need the IELTS for visa in the
Mm,
UK. Okay. But for Australia, we need it. Depends 6.5 or 7 bands overall, with no band less than 6. It is like that.
mm,
And
mm.
Germany, again, it should not be less than 6. In one module, 5.5 is okay, but not less than that. Only one module. Else,
Right.
you will not get the visa. But other countries, yes, IELTS is required. And US, no. UK, if it is approved, like given by the university, they don't need it for the visa. But other countries,
Yes.
yes, Australia, New Zealand, France, Spain, Finland, whichever it is, we need
Mm.
IELTS.
You need an IELTS.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. And because you said that the scores would vary, if let's say I were to take a safe score, let's say in IELTS, what is the safe score that a student can aim for? If they
6.5, no band, 6.5, no band less than 6.
6.5, no band less than 6. Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Now, Harjeet, I'd like to very quickly move on to the other important component, and that is in respect of the interview preparation, right? Because again, this is a very subjective area. So, what would you say are the common questions that are asked during student visa interviews?
In the US,
Yes, anywhere. Like let's talk about the more popular countries, but let's say I'm talking of the US or the Germany, France.
so, so here it is like, so US, it is basically why US? Why not India or any other country?
Okay,
Why this university? Why you didn't apply to any other university? What are your future plans? You have to be
okay,
clear with your future plans.
all
And
right.
another question asked is why this course? And what was your percentage in your bachelor or your previous qualification?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If the student gets a low score, then they ask why you have a low percentage in your bachelor. So it's like that. So you need to justify it to the visa consulate. So why US? Why this country? Why this university? Why not other country? What are your future plans? Who is funding you? How they are funding you? What's your
Perfect.
parents' annual income? So
Hmm.
this is how they goes, because you have to be clear with your future plans. Why you chose this
Understood.
university, or why you only chose USA? Why not your home country or other country? So this is what the major questions they ask.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. And in your experience, uh, what do you think is, are some of the major reasons that students falter? Because, like you mentioned that in the US, at least, the visa interview is very quick and they gauge you very quickly and they are quick to reject you also. So, how can students, confidently explain their choice of course, university, country, and in your experience, what do you feel are the major reasons why students face a challenge in their interview?
So it should be shorter and crispier, the answer. It
Okay.
should not be the long answer. It should be a liner or maximum two liners. So if I asked you why US, so it should be like US education system is ranked number one globally.
Mm,
Apart from that, we can say that after finishing getting a degree from the US, which is globally recognized, I will be getting more job options when I return to my home country. So I can apply to this country, like company, Amazon or Deloitte,
mm,
ENY. So you need
mm.
to be sure and you need to be confident while answering this. So,
Okay.
what modules you will be studying? I will be
Mhm.
studying data analyst or computer science or project management or Python, SQL. So you should
Mm.
be frequent while answering. There should not be a gap, or you should not hesitate while answering, because
Perfect.
if you hesitate, you fumble and you took pause, they will refuse you. So they all need is confidence. That is the main
Yes.
thing, which is important in the US majorly.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's very helpful what you mentioned. You need clarity and you also need to be concise.
Correct.
Excellent. So, one more important point which I want to ask here is that when students are asked about their post-study plans, how do they tackle that question? Because does it happen that if they are very honest and they say that, oh, my post-study plan is to stay back in the US and think of long-term plans like let's say to settle down there. I will not use a terminology. So would you say that that kind of backfires? And how do you suggest that students can handle this question?
Yes, never say that I will be staying back, right?
Mhm.
Future plan should be I just want to study in the US. I need a degree. That's what I said earlier, right? So I will be
Yes.
finishing my studies because I want to come back and join these companies as a this. So if I am
Mm-hmm.
going for a master's degree, MBA, I will be finishing it, then I will be joining back. I want to join, let's say, IDP or any company, Deloitte or ENY on
Mm-hmm.
as a senior manager or as a VP or as an AD. So it should be clear that yes, I want this in my future. I don't want to stay there and then I want to work there. Never say that, because if you say I want to stay there, they know that you will never come back.
Yes,
If
that's correct.
if CPT internship is an option, that is okay, because that is if it is mandatory, take it. If not, then just say I want to finish it. I will come back because I have my family back there. Plus, I have already decided that I will be working in this company as a this, or I will be applying to these companies on a as a this like designation or like that. That's it.
Okay, perfect. I think that sounds great. And I think that now, basis whatever you have explained, it gives us a fair idea about what are the necessary steps and also what are some really critical gaps that students need to address to ensure that this is a success. Now, I want to ask you from your experience, what do you feel are the most common or frequent mistakes that students make during the visa application process and the
So
interview?
sure. So interview application is fine, but
Hmm.
they need to carry the documentation like transcripts, their qualification document, their I-20, the
Hmm.
service fee confirmation receipt, the payment receipt, and the appointment letter, and their financials. So they need to carry everything. Apart
Hmm.
from that, if you fumble, they refuse you. If you
Hmm.
I asked you a question, you took 2 to 3 seconds of pause, right?
Hmm.
So they will refuse you. So it
Hmm.
depends upon the consulate as well sometime, to be honest. It depends upon their
Hmm.
mood also, right? But
Absolutely.
it's like if you hesitate, if you are nervous, if you sounded nervous, you looked nervous, they will
Hmm.
refuse you, because your facial expressions and your body language matters a lot here. If you're
Okay.
not confident, they will reject you. They will ask you to reapply.
Okay.
So be confident.
Perfect.
This is the main thing which matters here.
Be confident. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much, Harjeet. Thank you. And before I move on to the questions from the students, I want to ask a couple of questions regarding appeals. So, can students appeal a visa rejection? If yes, how? And how long would you say that students should wait before reapplying after a rejection?
So if it is for any other country, we
Hmm.
never recommend to appeal it, because it takes 40 to 50, 60 days or more
Mm-hmm.
than that as well,
Hmm.
right? So instead of wasting time, it's better to reapply with justification letter,
Okay.
because you can
Well,
justify it that they will mention it that we are refusing because of this reason, right? So just reapply, prepare a
mhm,
justification letter, address it to the embassy, and reapply with that letter. So it is
mhm.
better than
Okay.
appealing it, because 99% it is like you will not get anything. It's waste
You
of
will.
time.
Okay. So you are suggesting to apply afresh once again, right?
Yes,
Right.
reapply.
Reapply. In that sense, would you say that if I apply too late in the season, that affects my visa outcomes?
Yes. So let's say your intake is next month and you are
Yeah.
applying now. Definitely there will be a delay. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they will reject it, that why you are applying now, why you didn't apply earlier. So we
True.
always recommend to apply at least 2 to 3 months prior to the course start date to be on the safer side. If it delays also, you have enough time. You have ample of time. If it is delayed, then you can defer it, but
Mm-hmm.
apply at least 2 to 3 months before the course start date. You can apply 6 months prior as well if everything is ready.
If everything is ready. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Harjeet. This has been incredibly informative. And we've gotten to have a complete clear picture about this entire process. Now, I want to ask you a couple of questions that have been asked by our students. I believe you have already answered a few, but I'll take them up live because this could be helpful for other students. So there is a question. They say that they have a rejection from the Hyderabad US consulate, and the interview was only about two standard question. Why the chosen university, and what are their finances, and a couple of personal family questions. And they have good academics, 2.5 years of work experience without any gap. So could you give them some tips to improve their next interview?
Sure. So next time be clear with your funding. So how it was, if it was education loan, so I got an education loan of 50,000 USD from this bank. In case of emergency, my family has this much of amount, this USD in their account. Plus, if there is a scholarship, I have a scholarship of this much USD as well. So it should be clear. They want to know the numbers. So if
Mhm.
you are clear with your numbers, they will not ask you the other question. Why, again,
Understood.
why this university or why this country? This is the common question. So why this university? We have to know how you answered and what you answered. It should not be a long answer. Again, a liner or maximum two-liner. It should not be a paragraph, because it hardly take 15 to 20 seconds of interview, right? They only take it like that. Maximum goes up to 30 seconds, and they have 500 plus students with them. So it's better to be precise and quick in answering and close it. So based
Perfect.
on that, you will get the approval or refusal.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Harjeet. Thank you. Now, here I have a couple of questions from Shiva Reddy, and he is going to pursue his MBA at University of Europe for Applied Sciences, Dubai. So essentially, I'll pick up a couple of your question, and I'll answer a few for you, Shiva, and then rest I will let Harjeet answer it. So basically, he already has an APS certificate and a Duolingo score of 90. Will it be accepted? Yes, of course, it will be accepted if you require an APS certificate, even though it's a university in Dubai, because essentially it's a German university, which is why you require it. The questions other than this, Harjeet, are that who can be a sponsor for the Dubai visa? And can their brother be their sponsor? Will that work? Because his brother is already a sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, if it is your real brother, your mother, father, like your parents, your siblings can sponsor you, and
Mm-hmm.
grandparents.
Okay. All right. Your siblings can sponsor you. Okay. The other question is that how much money do I need to show for the Dubai visa process? So Shiva, as we have mentioned, it's in our website also, it's 8750 AED, including your visa processing fee, your health insurance and security deposit. The security deposit is of 3000 AED, which is refundable upon completion of your course. That's absolutely correct. If you do not get a visa, your health insurance is also refundable. Your health insurance is approximately 1600 AED. The question, Harjeet, is when should they pay the total amount of 8750 AED?
So they need, if the offer letter is there, university is asking for it, then they need to pay it. If not, then they need to show it in their account. So
Understood.
this is how it
Understood.
works. If university
Okay.
is asking for it, they need to pay it to the university, get the receipt and apply for the visa with that. If they're not asking, show the living expenses and the tuition fees and then apply for the visa, and university applies for the visa in the UA.
University applies for the visa.
So they will help with
Absolutely.
everything.
They will help with everything. So, Shiva, once you've completed the financial process, you have paid the tuition fee to UE Dubai, they will send you a letter with the visa documents and whatever you need to submit, and they will process your visa for you. In Dubai, the university does it for you. You will actually get an entry permit to Dubai. And when you go with an entry permit to Dubai, and to get that entry permit, you have to make this fee payment of 8750 AED. Once you get an entry permit and you go to Dubai, you will have to undergo a medical test. And only if you clear that medical test will you get your student visa. So that's how the process really works. So how long does it take to get the visa after submission? So it doesn't take too much time. It takes a week's time at least. Uh, at most, I would say. And I believe that that answers all your questions. So I'll take up the rest for Harjeet. So, very interesting question that based on the current ongoing situation in Canada, how do you recommend to show proof of funds in non-SDS? Do you suggest going with a GIC because their cousin is already in Canada and they are going to fund the entire education. So they are saying that I'm not sure how do I route this payment without showing any connection with Canada.
Okay, so here, if it is non-SDS, we still recommend students to pay the 1 year fees and create the GIC. Because in non-SDS, I know we need to show the amount, but to make the file stronger, pay the fees upfront plus do the GIC and then submit the visa, because we don't have to show any other amount apart from that because we already paid the fees. And if your cousin is there, when we fill the form, they always ask if you have any family there. It's your cousin. So it is not your like parents or brother or sister. This is your cousin, right? So if they ask you about family, then it comes only your parents. If they ask you anyone else, then mention, yes, my cousin is there and he is doing this and this is his residence ID number. So do not hide or lie. Just say it. It won't affect it because you are going on a student visa and he is applying for a PR. So
Mm-hmm.
we recommend again paying the tuition fee upfront plus create the GIC and then apply for non-STS.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Rajit. Thanks for answering that question. I take up the other question, and the question is my mother is a housewife, I'm the sole breadwinner, and their maternal uncle is taking care of certain finances. So, will this be counted as an exception for sponsorship?
So here, if it is US, so US, you can take money from your uncle and aunt, and they can sponsor you because your father is not there, right? So as an exception, yes, it is acceptable. So that won't affect your visa because it is interview based. So you have to just answer it. That if they ask you how you are funding, my father is not there, my mother is a housewife, and my uncle is sponsoring me, and he has this much of like 12 lakh of annual income, and he is sponsoring me. So this is how he or she can cater it. But yes, in the US, anyone can sponsor in your like your relatives or cousins also can sponsor, but they should be working. It should not be like they're not doing anything and they are just showing the money. No, they should be working because we need to show the ITRs as well here.
Hmm. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for answering that, Harjeet. And I will take up just two more questions that let's say, all right, this is a common question. So the question is that firstly for Germany, because you need to show a block account for Germany for 1 year. So if the duration of the studies is 2 years, then do you need to show a block account for 2 years or just 1 year?
We always show 1 year of living and 1 year of tuition fee. We
Yes.
never show second year funds, like the living cost, the blocked account. It will be for 1 year only.
Hmm.
Living cost is done. 1 year tuition fees, whatever you paid, the remaining amount you have to show in your.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. So I just want to let all our students know that I know a lot of you are asking about scholarship related questions and you are asking about academic questions. So this is not the right forum for it because today we are here to discuss about visa, the process, and the common mistakes that you can avoid. But what you can do is you can reach out to our counselors who will assist you with your profile. You can go to the upgradeabroad.com page. You can sign up for a free 1:1 counseling session, and somebody will reach out to you. They will understand your profile and they'll help you with the next steps. I'm just going to take a couple of more questions, and this is a question from Sapna who says that I've done my bachelor's in nursing and they want to shift to public health. So does transition into another program lead to a visa rejection? I think that's no, right?
It won't because it is somehow related. Public health,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
healthcare is somehow related. So that is okay.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So thank you. And with that, I will close this Q&A forum. I will just answer a couple of questions that some of you have raised that once the money is sent to the university, they will give the offer letter. Absolutely. There is a conditional offer letter and there is a letter of acceptance or unconditional offer letter. In most of the situations, the condition of acceptance is that you make a certain block deposit or fee or you give your IELTS score. If you are able to do that, you will get an unconditional offer letter. All right. Then the other question is I come with 70% marks in my 12th in English. As per university, they are considering MOI instead of IELTS. Do I still need to apply for IELTS? So if you're talking of France, particularly because there are not many countries which accept you without an English proficiency score. But yes, in France, they do. And if you have a 70%, it's good to go for a couple of university. Most universities will accept you with an MOI with a 70% score, but this is entirely subjective. Some universities may ask for more in your class 12th. If you do not have the requisite percentage, then you have to apply for an English proficiency test score. All right, so that's what that's the answer to your question. And I believe that all of you who've asked questions on how long is the student visa. So Harjit, I'll let you answer this. That a student visa is usually, I believe, let's say, is issued for the duration of the studies, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
it's like if it is UK, then you will get the course duration. From here, you will get 3 months or six
Mm-hmm.
months. And then once you reach there, you will get the BRP. And there, the validity will be there. The course duration plus 4 months.
Plus four
So
months. Okay.
USA, the course duration, France course duration, then you can apply for the post-study work visa. So it is like that.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Now, would you help me understand one more thing? Is that if a student wants to extend their visa, then how do they go about it? Is a visa extension possible?
Yes, it is possible. If they finish their studies and they want to apply for a post-study work visa, they
Hmm.
need to go there with their transcript or the last percentage sheet, whatever grade score, grade card, whatever they get.
Hmm.
And then they need to go to the VFS and ask for their help. They will help for the extension
Okay,
with a valid reason.
with a valid reason. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will take one final question from Sachin, who says that he is a student who's completely dependent on a scholarship. So, is the 3 month account balance compulsory for him?
No, if it is scholarship, they don't need to show anything. If it is
Okay.
100% scholarship.
Perfect. Perfect. So I think that would be all, in respect of the questions, Harjeet. And I would just like towards the end to, for you to give our students some tips, some lesser known or more common tips to help them secure a student visa successfully. What would you suggest to our students who are looking at this journey, and how could they really ace that visa interview?
Sure. So be ready with your funds, first of all. Be confident. If it is US, answer confidently. If it is other country, again, source of funding should be stronger. Your IELTS should be stronger. If it is low score, it is very there are very less chances to get the visa. Fund should be more. If it is we need 25 lakhs, again I'll say show at least 28 to 30 lakhs. So and maintain it for at least 3 to 4 months to avoid the rejection. Immediate funds are not at all acceptable. As soon as you get the offer letter, apply for the education loan if you are waiting for the education loan to apply for. Apply for the education loan as soon as you get the offer letter. So the and apply for the visa 3 to 6 months prior to the course start date to avoid the rush and the delay plus refusal. So these are the main things which are very important.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Harjeet, for taking out your time for this session.
No
And
problem.
thank you to all our audience who joined us here today. We hope that this was helpful. And we hope that with this information, you are able to take a right decision in respect of the school and the country that you choose to go to. We look forward to hosting you on a second webinar around a similar or same topic very soon. So thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Rakhi.